halfway through the spin class, I was like, why is it not recording? Oh, shit. And we maxed out. So we had 10 people in the spin class with us, and the other 8 were watching via YouTube or waiting to watch. And I never broadcasted it until halfway through the spin class. I was
wow.
Like, oh, fuck.
That's not good.
No, so, but that's growing. That's growing.
Is it growing? Yeah, it's growing. So if people are actually, since we are live, this will be on YouTube. If you are listening to this, go over to Facebook and to Mondright Multisport.
The Book of Faces.
The Book of Faces to the Mondright of Multisport. And there is a link for you to join a online free spin class.
What's your drink of choice tonight, Craig? Who gives a shit about spin class? What's your drink of choice? What do you got? Is it the old coffee?
Coffee tonight. Yeah.
You know, I would say, how do you drink coffee that late? But I don't know how much fucking coffee you drink. So,
well, not only do I drink a lot of coffee, but I got a lot of homework after this. So I got a lot to do. I'll be a busy night. Busy night.
And now, hang on. Let's preface this, because a busy night for you 15 years ago is much different than a busy night. so the you 15 years ago, would you have
a busy night would have ended with a smile?
Yeah. So a busy night 15 years ago for you, what would that make you? 21, 22?
15 years ago would have been 23.
23. Oh, yeah. Motherfucker. So, but would you imagine that you still got gel in your hair from the workday at a professional business? You're wearing some fucking sweater thing. I don't even know what the hell that is. With a tie and a button. You're looking dapper. Is that the word?
That is. Yeah. I paid for this suit. It actually came in a kit. It's like a service. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Dude, I would totally ask you for your number if I would like that. Like, that's a legit outfit. What's the little pin? What is that? I can't see that little.
What's that?
Like I keep pointing at it on the screen like you can fucking see. But yeah, what is that? Is that a pin or just a logo?
It's a logo. It's a logo. It's an Express sweater.
Is that like a Ralph Lauren?
No, Express.
Is that kind of in right now? Like you wear the sweater over the business shirt?
I wear it because it's 4 effing degrees outside.
Oh, and you guys are fixing to get some snow.
Yeah, we are. They're going to dump some white shit all over us.
You know who to holler at if you have issues. Which you shouldn't in that high-tech vehicle, yeah. But you know, Chris operates a snow truck this time of year.
Yes, he does. Yeah, so he will be. So, do we want to get into this? What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's get into it. You got homework to do, and let's get into the casting of pods.
The casting of pods. This is what is this? 40? This is 46.
Yeah, because you said 45 last time. It was 44, but it was really 43. But we thought about 47. I don't fucking know what happened.
I don't either. All right, let's do it. You ready?
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's do it.
We gotta find that song, dude. That's gotta be done.
Actually, if you give me a second, I'll pull it up before we get guarded.
And so what happens is you should totally do the intro, let it play, and then all you come on and say is, let's do it, cue that song, we'll intro. Dude, that's money. Tone Loc would be stoked if we did that. That's probably like the first sale he'll have in years. Oh, yeah, that's my jam. You know, I had that cassette. Let me back this up. I had that cassette as a kid. And I remember, I think Mom actually had it, which actually is really fucking awkward now that I think about that.
Really?
No, let's not discuss that. Let's move on. That was disgusting.
Let's move on. All right, let's do this.
All right, let's hit it.
Performance on Demand podcast number 46. In
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Performance on Demand podcast with Craig and Jeremy, where you will learn all things endurance sports, from training and nutrition to mental strength. Everything you need and want to know in one place.
Let's do it.
Love it, love it, love it.
Let's do it, Jeremy Brown.
What up, dude?
Welcome, everyone, to the Performance on Demand podcast. I am your host, Craig Willard.
Dude, I swear to God, if I ever get to a point in my life where I need walkout music for anything, and maybe you know, we're talking about going down to Lafayette and maybe doing a seminar for the Tri-Cajuns, that should be the music we walk out to.
I'm telling you, we
like, just walk out like fucking bosses.
We're gonna have to have sunglasses. Even if it's not, we're gonna wear sunglasses. We're gonna have. I mean, we're gonna do the whole thing.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Whole thing.
Hammer
What's up,
pants.
Jeremy?
Hammer pants.
Hammer pants. Well, that's got some ballroom, that's for sure.
Turns out I don't have any more of those. Anyway, so what's up, man? How you been?
Man, I've been good.
It's been a while. It's been a while. We missed.
I know, we missed the event.
We did.
Sorry,
We did.
listeners. We got everything. It's been really crazy. A lot of things going on. Jeremy's over there just killing it. School and work and
Family.
We're trying to raise a daughter.
Which you don't even really like.
Yeah, not
Okay.
like it at all. Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, I love my daughter. But yeah, it's been busy. But that's what I want. That's why I like it. And
Well, you know what's awesome, Craig, is I've been in the industry and around the industry in a professional aspect for I guess this is my third or fourth year. I don't remember. And this is the time of year.
Baby.
I know, right? This is the time of year when, like, bike shops. I was talking to Mark Miller the other day, and he said, we're actually doing good. He's like, January's our slow month, and that's everybody comes off of Christmas, nobody buys new bikes, so on and so forth. But usually, last half of December, all of January, and all of February, the crappiest time when it comes to like bike shops and sales and stuff. And so it's funny because generally that's kind of the rule of thumb with coaching. That's when people take their breaks and they step away from coaches or transition coaches, so on and so forth. And so it's and you and I had this discussion. I anticipated that going into like October, November. I told you, I was like, dude, I got to make it till February because I'm still 6 months into this. I've only been doing it full time for 6 months. I've been coaching for 3 years, but full time for 6 months. And I told you that was making me nervous. And to be honest with you, dude, my athletes are just freaking killing it. It's like I had to force them to take breaks. And now we come off, and now we're sitting on 3 Boston qualifiers from the race yesterday. 3 sub-2 halves, which is all PRs for them. And it's like, all right, well, so much for the lull, right? And that's kind of what got in. I guess I don't want to say got in the way because that's not an accurate statement, but kind of put me a little bit behind. I didn't anticipate things to be building as quickly as they are, and that's a good problem to have. But when you're not expecting it, it's like, oh, shit. So.
Yeah, you all really. I was watching your news feed, and I'm pretty impressed. Yeah, so good direction on that. But the thing is, you got hard workers. That's key. The coach can only do so much. So it's good that it's good that you have selected, or however it is. I'll whatever. You have the clients that you have that really want that growth and development. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm very, very fortunate. Myself and coaching staff and you were very fortunate to have the athletes on board with us that do trust us all the time. So I think today's topic, I'm going to jump right into it, Craig, because it's something that I raise my hand. I am personally struggling with myself at this point in time. And, it's funny because we'll go back and forth. What are we going to talk about? Well, it's this. And then it's like, 4 hours later, it's like, shit, what were we going to talk about? Like, that's life. Life is so busy. If we don't write it down, I mean, you're not communicating about a ton of topics. And I bet all the ones we communicate about, probably, 30% of them actually stick and we remember, hey, this is what we're going to do. Because the moment that I'm in, I'll shoot you a note and say, hey, Craig, X, Y, and Z, I want to talk about this, and this. And then it's like a week later, it's like, shit, I don't remember what that was.
What we're going to do? Yeah.
Right. Well, we got a podcast still? People still listen to this damn thing?
I know. It's
actually
been going crazy lately. We've had back-to-back record days of downloads. So I'm pretty
thank everybody.
Impressed. And of course, then we did that one with me just alone because you were so busy, and I didn't expect it to go well. It turned out really, really well.
Dude, your voice is dreamy. You have a voice for lullabies. It's just like, and I was complimenting on your outfit, man. I'm telling you, I would ask for your phone number if I wasn't already actively taken. You were dressed up. You're looking dapper. You're looking
dapper.
Swagger. You look like you're a grad student.
I got a little fop in my hair. Fop.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that is, but you got it in your hair.
You not heard fop? Oh, brother, where art thou? Have you not heard that?
Look at this. I got this going on. I need more fop.
It's running.
I need more mop, I guess. My forehead's growing. So anyway.
You got a mop.
Oh, it's moving. So, Craig, habits.
What about them?
Habits. Man, how hard are they to break? How hard are they to start? What the hell is a habit? And why are they so important in our life? I'm just shooting from the hip, but I think those are some pretty good points.
Habits are hard to break because we tell ourselves we can't break them.
You already flipped the script. We just fucking got started.
I just got started.
I know. I like it.
It's like when we say we can't do something. You're right. You can't. And the harder we say something is, when we verbalize it, self-fulfilling prophecy says it's going to be real hard. And so you don't. And I'll tell you, I was doing so part of what I'm working on is in school is behaviorisms and self-efficacy. You heard of this word, self-efficacy?
And what is? And I am not papered up. I am Ironman certified, which is not a degree in anything. But what is the word efficacy mean? Because I've heard it, but I don't.
It's kind of like the effect. So it's you being able. It's your ability to affect something.
Okay.
So self-effect, but self-efficacy. And here's what they did. Speaking of, they took and this is you can find this on YouTube. It was in Eastern State, Tennessee. There's a professor that puts out psychology videos, and he's really funny and he's really good. But he was talking about self-efficacy, and he said it took 3 groups. There was this study about 3 groups that wanted to quit smoking. This is a bad habit. And they took 1 group and they just told him, just try to quit however you can. Only like 4 or 5% quit. And that's about the common standard. They say about 5% of people quit. 90% of people try the first time but don't. Then they went to the second one and said, okay, here's tools, when to start, how to slowly go off of your, how to wean down over time off of the nicotine or whatever. And then what they did is they did the self-efficacy training to another group of people. And they said, we have checked you and we know that you have the power within you to quit. We have specially selected you because you have the ability to quit, and you have the traits and the personality and all those things. Check to be a perfect candidate to quit. You know what? It went from like 5% to like 20% for the group that they started giving like goals and stuff to 60% of people quit because they were trained in self-efficacy. Because they believe it. And so self-efficacy is all about belief. And when you notice that people feel like they can't do something new, they really have this, some people, whether it's doing something they've never done before, and let's say take off a tire on a car. If someone's self-efficacy low is kind of low, they're gonna be like, nah, I don't know that I'll be able to do that. Someone that has high self-efficacy will go, I'll figure that out. Let me see. Let me look around, see what I got to figure out here. Oh, let's jack it up here. Let's try this. Oh, that didn't work. Let's take this down. We'll keep going. But anyway,
confident efficacy.
Yeah.
You gotta have a certain level of swagger or confidence to you to say I can do that.
I think the neat thing about the English language is a bunch of stuff means a bunch of stuff. And what I mean by
that is a Facebook post. A bunch of stuff means a bunch of stuff. Signed, Craig Willard.
Well, you've got confidence. This
is what 12 years in college gets you. This one quote.
Well, I mean, it's like everybody uses belief. They'll use thought independent of focus, independent of self-talk. But it's all the same stuff.
It's all the same, right? And much like our topics too. Much like our topics, they all kind of tie it. They may be called one thing, but they're kind of tied.
They're all yes, they are. But when it comes to habits, we are absolutely creatures of habit because it develops a world of comfort. We know what to expect out of a habit. So we create a habit to be consistent. The problem is when we need to break the habit, now we get uncomfortable. And no one wants to get uncomfortable. That's why I always say, to grow, you must become uncomfortable because you must do things outside of the beaten path. The beaten path is your habit. Right. I was in orientation. So I do orientation every month for our facility on HIPAA. And one of the things I say is we're a creature of habit. Make sure that you use passwords that aren't easy to guess. And because we're creatures of habit, the first password I might use is Craig Willard 1. And then in 180 days, because of our security policies, every 180 days, you have to change it. So the next thing I'm going to do I got to rechange it. Craig Willard 2. And then I do it again. Craig Willard, 3. And we keep on going because it's just easy. Versus if I had to do something completely different, that feels weird. And that's really hard for me to remember. But what do you have to remember before you can remember?
I think so. I'm not.
I don't know, but
I should Google that. I should absolutely Google that. Well, it's funny you say that because Kendall was online trying to buy a plane ticket the other day, and she punched in a password, and for some reason it didn't accept it like 5 times. It's like, oh no, you tried too many times. So she had to go reset it again. She's at the point where she's out of passwords, of her normal passwords. It's funny you say that though, because she was like, shit, what am I going to use? I won't remember anything else.
Exactly.
And it's like, all right. So that makes perfect sense. So, you said there, and that's one thing I always tell people when it comes to a physiological change, it takes 6 to 8 weeks to make an adaptation, like for your body to be like, okay, cool, we're absorbing. So I use that in relation to habit. I tell people it takes 6 to 8 weeks to change or to break a habit, to create a new one or break one. It takes that long for your body to say, okay, this is us. This is what we're doing. This is where we're going. And I truly believe that because I am currently in a state now of trying to create that workout habit again. That, okay, just get up and do it. It's what we do. We just got to go and do it. And you got to recreate that. So you don't realize how powerful or important habits are or dangerous or detrimental until you are trying to break one or you're trying to create one, because it takes a shit ton of work. Like it really does. I mean, it is tough to break a habit. It is tough to create a habit. It really is. And that's where patience gets tested. And guess what? Sometimes when we're pushing and that resistance is just too much, what happens? We want to turn, follow the tide or follow the current and go right back to our path where it was nice and downstream. Right. Everybody does that. And it's not a fault. It's not a flaw. It's humans. It's what we do.
It's tough to break the habit. Agreed. It's also tough to create a habit over top of a formed known habit. What it is not usually is hard to create a new habit that has no path whatsoever before.
True.
But the problem is because the mind is so lazy, the mind doesn't want you to do much with that habit. So it really wants you just to do nothing. So it's really easy if you don't have a lot going on to create a habit of getting home and sitting on the couch.
Right.
I mean, that could be your habit. Next thing you know, it's, I really want to sit on the couch. And then next thing you know, you're sitting on the couch every single day, and it's a week, it's a month. It's now it becomes, because that formed habit, that habit now has to find a way to get unraveled and start back again. So then it gets uncomfortable trying to put exercise or whatever. But there's a whole nother part of habit, which I think is really important.
Time out. You said member and remember is the word, and I say this all the time, and I have questions, but you are a highly educated fool. So, nother, whole nother. What? Is nother actually a word? Because it's not whole another, but we say whole nother. I do that all the time, and I'm like, is that even a real word?
No, it probably isn't. I didn't.
Whole nother. So how else would you say it though? Oh yeah.
Did you hear that? That's called silence.
Whole nother. So anyway, I can carry on. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's a whole different. It'd be like that's a whole different something.
Okay, but whole nother just sounds
that's
better.
That's probably something we do in Kentucky. It sounds smooth. It works. It's like bourbon. It's just smooth.
I've said it for years, and anytime I hear somebody say it, I'm like, is that really a word? Because I still use it. So anyway, carry on.
Well,
Sorry,
to get back into the nerd stuff, Skinner, there's this whole thing with Skinner and another guy they're talking about.
Leonard Skinner?
No, like Skinner as in, Skinner is all about behaviorism. And there was this debate whether you learned vocabulary from like a stimuli response scenario, or did you learn vocabulary just because you just started using it? And there's this innate ability within you to understand language. So example is, we use words all the time. We don't really know what they mean. They just sound right.
It fits.
Everybody knows what you're talking about, although it might not have been the right word.
I wouldn't try to put you on Front Street. I was not trying to parallel park you on Front Street.
But anyway, that's kind of funny.
When I heard it, it always jumps out at me. I'm like, Craig's a smart dude. He'll know the answer to this shit. Because I've been like, whole nother. Or I'll be like, and I'll tell people, it's a whole nother can of worms.
Well, that's probably what you should do is remove the whole and just say that's another whatever. Not have whole.
Whole adds that extra.
It's kind of like the F word. It just goes, you get it.
Yeah, it does.
You see? But where I was headed to originally was
sorry.
Backtrack. The power of habit is in process work.
Okay.
So as we've talked about with goal setting, you have process, performance, and outcomes. Habitual work becomes part of process. So if you work over and over and over again on your form, on how you swim, on all of those things, that area of process work creates efficiency. Habit is where when you develop mastery, you can actually develop bad habit just as well as you can develop great habit.
Right.
So
it's easy to do that.
Oh, it's really easy. And if you don't know any different, it's really hard to have. If you don't know what to look for, as they term the word introspection, as looking at yourself and
right.
looking. But if you were to look, like when you run, if you don't know what to look for, you might see yourself running. Like, for example, I hate to say this, I do, but the first thing I look for when I see someone's picture online and they're running is I look where their shoes are located. Yes. And I'm like Jeremy would drive a line right through that. But they run fine. But they're
and they're fast.
And they're fast. But they're about to be real fast, so they straighten that up. And so the power of habit is ensuring that that your foot is in a proper alignment with what they're supposed to be, where Jeremy's little green lines are from his little application. And that's not to point out people, and next thing you know, whoever's listening to this is going to be like, wait, look at my picture. Is he talking about
heel striker?
Talking about me? No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, well, it's not a good thing. That's all I'm saying. And call Jeremy and he'll help you out. But anyway.
I personally, and you and I had a discussion the other day, I personally struggle with creating new habits. Breaking old habits is not that hard because I'm pretty stubborn. I can make them go away when I recognize that something needs to go away. Creating new ones, and you and I discussed you offered me that app we were talking about the other day to help me kind of plan my day a little more. I need to create habit within my day so that every day between 8 and 10, I look at data. Yes. I don't open up Facebook. I don't send emails. I do this. And then, every day, but I have to do it with consistency. And luckily there are, apps available now that kind of help us in our chaotic worlds organize that a little bit, but it's creating that habit that I struggle with. So do you have any tips even for me? I mean, and you helped me a bunch the other day, but do you have any tips for someone who's trying to not necessarily break an old habit, but create a new one? And whether it's a healthy lifestyle, whether it's creating, Craig, we have to create the positive thought process. What's a tip you could give somebody that that really wants to, they just can't quite get it over that edge of creating that new habit?
And you just said it. They can't quite do it. If you say you can't create a habit, you won't. If you say it's hard, it's going to be hard. If you say I can't do it, I will. And the first thing you need to know is, so the first thing you need to do is know why you're doing it. A habit without a reason it's like a goal without a why. It has no purpose. And really, if you went down to it, if you're not doing everything with a purpose, you're not going to do it real well anyway. You might get through it, but you're not going to do it with any level of excellence.
Right.
And to me, even, I had this thought the other day. I was thinking about greatness, and I was like, I even use that word, and I know like Les Brown uses greatness. There is greatness within you, but really, when I think of greatness, what do I have to think about? I have to think about other people, because it seems like to me, greatness is more about what I am compared to someone else.
Right.
So what I say is reach for excellence, because that's something that you can handle. Greatness might come from that.
Yeah, that's actually, Craig, and you come up with a lot of good shit. I'll give you that. It is, and you take things that are commonplace and you put them into a little bit different. It's almost like a paradigm shift with a lot of stuff you come up with, and that's like your goal setting. That's like the word try. That's like your thoughts that are. Some people will want to debate with you, but when you say that, and as soon as you say greatness, I immediately go to sports figures.
Yes,
I immediately go to Wayne Gretzky, Brett Favre,
Muhammad Ali,
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I go straight to that, and you're right. It's me saying, "Holy shit, dude! I'm nowhere near as good as Andrew Starkowitz is. Yep. He's great. I'm not there. How can I get there? Well, fuck it. I'll never get there."
Excellent.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's we should dig into that more in another podcast. That's really a phenomenal idea and thought process.
Well, and my point coming to that was the power of your habit will drive your excellence. So
dude, I'm from Kentucky. Let's let that sit in for just a second.
The power of your habit will drive your excellence.
The power of your habit will drive. That's solid. I'm gonna write that shit down.
But your habit has to have the power. It's like a boat without it's like a boat with a motor with no prop on it.
I thought you said a butt with a motor. I'm like, wait a minute, motorboat all of a sudden?
Butt motor. My anaconda don't want none unless you got a boat.
Done. Oh, that's got to be on the next podcast.
Fair enough. Done. Habit is your thought. Habit is anything that you do consistently. Negative thoughts is a habit. Positive thoughts.
That's a good point.
Is a habit.
Yeah.
I can do it attitude. Habit.
So Craig, I know of a couple athletes. Their first, I will call them pessimists.
Okay.
Their first opinion on anything that involves themselves is always a negative connotation. Their first comment is, "I only bike 12.4 miles per hour on the trainer." I say, okay. I go back and look at the heart rate data. They did everything that their coach asked within that workout. They don't understand that they succeeded. They did well. They completed the workout. They did what they needed to do. But their first thought is that negative connotation. And so that's I guess if you had to put it that way, it's kind of like a glass half empty type person. It's like, I don't have enough. I didn't give enough. I am not enough.
It's never enough.
It's never enough, yes. And that's a habit. And you say that, and I kind of go off on a tangent real quick, but that really triggers me and resonates with me because you're right. It is a habit. Their habit is to cut it down.
Right.
Doesn't matter how good it is. How many times have you met someone, whether professionally or personally, that's like supremely talented at something, like really, really, really good. And when you tell them, man, that was awesome. They downplay it. Well, and we've talked about this before with accepting compliments. Their first initial habit and reaction is, bam, cut it down.
Yep.
Don't accept it. And that's you said that's a habit, and that's a cool, for me, that's a cool connection. That is like, holy shit, yeah, that's not just them being a pet, like that's their habit. They've had that. That's all they've done. It may have been a learned trait. It may have been something they've been through that forced them to be that way. Your spouse may react to you a certain way when you say something. That's a habit. It's not necessarily their fault. That's just kind of how they're programmed right now. And until they want to be reprogrammed and reprogram to the other side of that coin, which is the good habit, then that's an issue. So that's I kind of got off on a little bit of a tear there, but when you said that, it was like, bing, holy shit, that makes sense.
And you said a very important point.
Dude,
that is
you must my mouth opens.
You must want to do it. It doesn't matter what everyone else on the planet wants you to do. You must want it. And if what I tell people, especially when I coach them, is I say, when somebody offers you a compliment, it is not your place to debate it. Never debate a compliment, because it'll be the last time they compliment you.
Right.
I've learned my lesson. I'm not doing that again. Now they've created a habit, and their habit is, I ain't giving them a compliment because they don't accept it anyway. So you know what? Hell with them.
Well, and to back up and to kind of defend my non-compliment takers in the world, because there are a shit ton of them.
Oh, there are. Absolutely.
I never realized that until you and I had the discussion. This has been some months back, and you had said, I think it was when we were doing with an athlete, you talked to me, you said they just don't take compliments. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? And you explained it to me that they want to deflect. that they don't really absorb them. And
Yeah.
you have forced me to start saying thank you. Even if I don't feel I deserve it, you say thank you. And it's funny because when I pay someone a compliment and they don't do that,
You're
I'm
like,
like,
oh, wait.
whoa, hold
Yes.
the fuck up.
Yes.
Hang on a second here.
Yep.
I paid you a compliment. All you got to do is say thank you. You don't have to agree. Be cordial, say thank you, and move on. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, I've noticed within myself that has created it was not a conscious effort, but now when someone pays me a compliment, I believe it. I say thank you. You know, and it's something that's a habit that was created accidentally, but you know, like we were talking about, it's a habit that got created nonetheless. You know, it's that repetitive over and over and over until it becomes, you know, something substantial.
Yeah. You have to, it's what I teach all the clients that have that problem. And it's not a problem as much as it's just how you process it and just say, look, instead of debating it, if somebody says something good about you, don't put it in your mind to say, no, that's not really true. In fact, I don't even want you to say thank you externally and say you're ridiculous internally.
Through you, right?
Yeah, because as I talked about, and I've said this, we talked about this in a couple podcasts, and that is that your self-talk, which is that conversation you have with yourself, if it is positive or negative, it's going to be a response that is a positive or negative. It's a matching response. And so if it is a negative response, then you could potentially get yourself into worry. And worry is not always a bad thing. There's some things you need to worry about, but there's most things in life we worry about that we don't need to. You get into worry, you get into anxiety, and you get into stress. And none of those things play well. But if you have a positive thought, if you're like, yeah, that's appreciative, thank you. The only thing that's left is to be happy. That's it.
It's profound. That's
it's
completely legit, but that's a profound statement. That's really, really.
Just say thank you and accept it.
So with you saying all this, and you kind of alluded to it earlier, so kind of the key to breaking a habit is being okay with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
Is that a fair assessment?
Absolutely. Have you ever pressed upon a habit that wasn't comfortable? I mean, if it is not if it is comfortable to break it, either A, it was so painful that you had no other option but to get out of it, or it really wasn't there wasn't really a spot for it originally, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You can groove. It's like grooving a new path, you know?
Right.
So,
and it's, you know, and the I guess the old cliche is, you know, we are creatures of habit, and that gets thrown around a lot, but it really is true, because when we have a habit, for instance, and this is a personal life example, if I this kind of, I guess, dips into expectations a little bit. My expectation is that at such and such time, somebody will say, hey, I'm leaving work. And if that doesn't happen one day, worry starts in. It's like, wait a minute, that's outside of what's normal. Doesn't mean it's wrong. And that's what I'm learning. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't make it bad. But for me, that's something that I have that habit, and you're right, it's comfortable. And when it's not there, it's uncomfortable. And another habit that I've had to try to break with your ass is not really with your ass, but you get it. So is being okay with silence. Like that right there. See what I just did? You see how I worked that in there? So, but the thing is,
right.
is you've taught me the power of silence. Sometimes when we say things and when we speak, I get so high strung, and when I become nervous, I talk a lot, and I fill those gaps of silence with words. And that's a habit of mine that you have helped me to work on breaking, because normally for me, if there's silence, then that means something's wrong in my mind. That's how my mind processes. And so that's a habit that I've had to work on breaking. But I had to accept being uncomfortable to break that, because if it's just me and you sitting there staring at each other, it's like awkward for me still. Right. It's like, somebody should really say something, because this shit's weird, right? Yeah. And it's and the old sales adage is, when you're in negotiations, he who speaks first loses. Right? If you're doing a car deal and you're the one that cannot handle the silence, and you say, okay, fine, I'll take it for that. Well, guess what? You just fucking lost. And so And sometimes in speaking, your point doesn't get the time to kind of resonate and really marinate with whoever you're trying to portray it to, because you instantly cover it up with other words. Right. And so I got off on a little tangent, but to me, that's how I relate. I relate it to me is I'm having to become comfortable with that uncomfortable setting. And that's how I'm working to break that habit. So,
no, well, it's the squeaky doors. It's and the ums, which we do sometimes, and sometimes we do them more than others. We feel like if we're not speaking, that something's wrong. So I have to fill up the air.
Me too.
My time is valuable, but it's funny because you'll see great speakers that do ums all the time, and then you'll see some that don't. The podcast I did the other day by myself, I put in a ton of silence on purpose. And just let it. It was almost like I wanted to let certain things marinate for a minute.
You want to let them sit. You want to let them be absorbed, so you don't pull the attention.
They go, huh? Well,
oh, really? Instead of throwing something right back at them, and that's something that is an art that you taught me. And when I listened to your podcast the other day, not only was I supremely impressed that you did it solo and really rocked it. I mean, it was good. It was super good. And honestly, I don't listen to a ton of our podcasts. After we do them, I listen to pieces of them and move on. And I actually listened to that entire thing. And every time you go silent, I caught myself thinking. I was like, oh shit, this guy's good. But it's for me, it's becoming, it absolutely is. But for me, it's a habit I've had to break without a doubt. So
you got, again, that's just one of many habits. Habit is eating bad food. Habits could be, talking negative to yourself. Habits could be being mean to people. Habits could be self-doubt. So habits could be whatever. But let's talk about diet just for a second, because everyone has a plan.
We should discuss that now.
I'm not gonna. Well, what is your diet? What is your habit, Jeremy? You ever squishing grapes, putting a little alcohol in your system?
Absolutely. No, I had bacon on the bike train. By the way, bacon is a phenomenal food for the bike. I'm learning for me.
Bacon is just a phenomenal food. Period.
It's a true story, dude. Okay. How can you take? And let's derail just 2 seconds talking about diet. How can you take broccoli, cauliflower, onions, cheese, mayonnaise, and bacon and make that taste amazing? Because you put so much effing bacon in it that it only tastes like bacon.
Everything's bacon wrapped, triple bacon wrapped.
Bacon wrapped bacon. I am game.
One of the easiest things when it comes to diets, to me, this is so important, is that people, for one, they want to go on a diet. And I actually had a client the other day, I talked to this. If you ever have a diet and your habits are to change and eat better, that's not a diet. A diet is anything you eat. I don't care what it is. Your diet is your thing for the day. And when we say diet, then subconsciously, do you know what we think?
Restriction.
Loss. And no one wants a loss.
Yeah.
So we never think about.
We got our ass beat last week. Anyway,
no, really. We don't want that loss for sure. But when you're looking at changing how you eat, how to help that create a habit that's better is, instead of removing, say you drink Coke, say you drink 5 Cokes every day.
Oh, shout out.
If you do, that's fine. But you want to go down. So for this week, go ahead and drink your 5. Let's just do that. Next week, let's take it from 5 and drop it down to 4. And then, do you have a guest?
I'm getting a refill on wine. Right
okay. You need water.
No, water. No,
wine.
Come on, dude. Do you even know me?
Yeah, I know you. You need water. That's why I said that.
She picks her head in the door and holds up the bottle of wine like, "Are you out?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I'm out." So I got the hookup.
But so this week do 5, and then next week go to 4. So moderate those things that you want to get out of your system. Moderate them out.
Okay.
So for a week, do 4. Next week, do 3. The next week, do 2. The next week, do 1. And if you do it, you'll find that you'll pull yourself into a new habit of not drinking those over time versus cold turkey. Because cold turkey, people crave it. And I got to have it. I've not weaned myself off of it, just like a medication.
Right.
I gotta have it. Next thing you know, instead of you drinking 5, you end up drinking 10 because you freaked out because you didn't have it. And then you drink so much of it that you picked up more weight. So just a little note on habit for.
No, that's
it's moderation. That's the habit fixer.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that I think this is a great topic because, we've talked about habit from a lot of a negative connotation this entire time, but what habit is too, is like you said, you hit on it earlier is the process work, right?
Yeah.
And the athletes that put in and create the good exercise habits are the athletes that are able to not only accomplish, but go above the goals that they set. And it's because they create that habit. It's not that they're doing anything drastic. Every day I'm going, and this is so, on a side note, I'm actually working with a couple of, there's a restaurant here, and I'm coaching the owner of the restaurant. He wants to do his 4th Ironman. And I told you about these folks, and he wants me to work with his management team on fitness goals. Now, mind you, these are not performance athletes.
Sure.
These are lifestyle people that have gained some weight, 5'10", 220 pounds. Like, I need to lose some weight. I need to get healthier. And I've tried to lay the foundation for them of, all right, here's the thing. We're not going to go out and set the world on fire right now, but we're going to do one good thing per day. And that's going to be get active for 15, 20 minutes. Because it's going to take you a week or two to create the habit of, okay, I got to go do something today. And, one of them has really taken to it. Well, really they all have. But one of them has really taken to it in day one. And he's a chef at this restaurant. And he's like an award-winning chef. He was actually recruited from Dallas at a huge restaurant. Like, this is a big deal. He's some award-winning guy, right? And, he made the joke the other day of never trust a skinny chef when I first met him. And that's the old adage. And so my goal now is to make him the best chef in the best shape in the entire city of Houston. Because I want to take that adage and throw that shit away.
Right.
I want to prove that you can have a skinny chef that makes food that will make you, as they say, slap your mama, which we both know better than to do because we would get our asses beat.
Right.
I don't care how big of an old boy you are. So
that's true. Yeah.
But for him, it's just create that habit. He took it one step further. He said, all right, if I'm going to create this habit, I'm going to go. He wasn't eating breakfast, so he went out and got a bunch of healthy breakfast food. And then he went out and got, stuff to supplement throughout the day as far as, good greens and stuff like that. But he's taken that habit and he's really embraced it. And, for them, my message to them, because they're not on the performance side of things, that my message to them is create good, a good avalanche, essentially. Just start that snowball. Let that sucker run, but you have to start it. You have to get that snowball going down the mountain before it becomes this huge avalanche. And it's awesome to watch it resonate with people and to see that habit being formed, but it's tough, because they have to get uncomfortable. It's one of those things where we sit back, and I'm sure you do it yourself. You sit back and you say, oh yeah, man, I'd love to go out and do that, but I don't have time. Right. Isn't that our favorite one?
Busy.
Or
busy.
I'd love to do a 5K, but man, my knees have been killing me for years. And we always come with these little excuses, but all we got to do is create that one little habit. And that's all. That's when these people get hooked on this sport, endurance sports in general, they create that one habit. And that habit feeds something else and feeds something else. And then an athlete gets injured and you take that habit away from them. It's a withdrawal. It's a depression. That's like breaking the habit. And then you have to recreate the habit, which some athletes are coming on out of the off season now. That's what I do. We get to the end of the season. I want to break the habit of good, smart exercise. Let's just take a break. And they kind of become like dehabitized. I don't know if that's a word, but I just fucking made it one. And so, and then it's creating a habit again. The first 2 weeks back, man, they hate me. I'm so out of shape. Oh, team fat.
I'm hurt. I'm sore.
Blah, 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 And next thing you know, after 2 or 3 weeks, they're back in the grind and things are like, oh yeah, look, I'm actually doing better than I was before. So that habit is a very tricky, but a very tricky, delicate monster, I would say. But it's one that I think with enough mental fortitude, maybe, with enough determination, that habit can be broken or created, I believe.
If you want to, if you know why you want to do it, you have a purpose and it's meaningful to you, you'll quit or you'll change. Or, it doesn't matter which way you go with a habit. It can be painful. It's painful for an athlete to stop a habit of performing.
Yes.
It's painful for them to start it back up. It's called momentum.
Right.
And as long as you start swinging the momentum, as long as you start heading
the big mo, they got the big mo.
The big mo. As long as you start and you do it, and that's of course the worst thing to do is to start. Well, I don't guess it's the worst thing to do, but don't start on the wrong foot. Make sure that you're, nothing worse than seeing someone risk injury to themselves because they go start training at the gym, but they use bad form, and then they create a habit that's good form, and they mentally think, hey, that's good form, and it's not. And next thing you know, they injure themselves because of that, or even running. Whatever.
Well, how about trying to create a habit because of the time of year, Craig? Just a couple, and everybody made all the jokes on Facebook, blah, blah, blah. It's funny, haha, whatever, about all these new people in the gym and show these how not to work out dry humping kettlebell videos. And how about, and like you said the why, and that really makes sense because it's like, don't start a habit because it's trendy. Don't start a habit because it's a certain time of year. Oh, I'm going to eat right, and after the holidays, I'm going to eat right. It's the first year, all your friends do these resolution things. Resolutions don't stick, dude. I'll tell you right now. Resolutions, I say don't. They rarely stick because New Year's resolutions. I don't believe that, like you said, that, and I never put it in the context you did. You said it very eloquently, but they don't have the right fuel behind them. It's like, all right, who starts, you'll get Monday, I'm starting to work out. Monday, you got a shitty day at work. You go home, you have a drink. You're like, fuck, I can't run. I've had 3 beers, right? I'll do it next Monday because you can't start a new habit on a Tuesday.
Right.
And you just keep kind of laying it out. But
well, I mean, I got wine tomorrow with the guys.
Yeah.
Which is weird to say. What is that? I got something on Wednesday. I got something on Thursday. I got something on Friday. You know what? Let's just start this on Monday.
We'll just do this I'll eat right on Monday. I'll get through the weekend because we're going to the barbecue, football game.
And I can go shop and get all my stuff.
Yeah. And then you get drunk at the cookout.
Someday is not a day, as we've said. It's not a
true story. But what I was getting at is that you have to have the right fuel to propel. Yeah. And you said your why. You have to have the right fuel to propel your trying to create a new habit. And it's not a time of the year. It's not because it's a trend. I'll tell you now, I'm trying to not start the habit of wearing skinny jeans. And it's unfortunate, and most triathletes can probably relate. If you've got any type of leg definition, jeans just don't fit like shit.
What do you wear? A 4, 5?
It's a 5 slim. It's a 5 slim. But no, that's the thing is that
Stonewash Jeremy.
Yes. I mean, they're super skinny. I mean, down to the pencil leg. I actually had to kind of cut the back to let the calf breathe. But anyway, but yeah, and I guess we can kind of wrap it up, trying to go around a circle. But habits are tough, but habits are worth it if they're done for the right reason and they're done with the right motivation and the right drivers. Whether it's breaking a habit because you want to break it for reasons X, Y, and Z, maybe you want to cut back your sugar because your family has a history of adult diabetes, right? And all of a sudden you're like, shit, I got to stop eating all the sugar stuff. That's hard to do, especially something like that. Your body becomes addicted to it, just like coffee and alcohol and so on and so forth. But habits are worth breaking and habits are worth starting if you think they're worth it. And you write that down. That was a good quote.
It is a good quote. If anything good comes from it, it's not easy.
Say that again?
If anything good comes from it, it is not easy. If it is easy, it's consistent. If it's some things that are consistent that aren't easy, but I think about one thing that I can think of off the top of my head that's easy that I do consistently is breathe. And that's just more of an automated thing for me. It's you want to survive.
It's easy now. Wait until you get up in age.
Ain't nothing worse than shortness of breath. I mean, that's the first thing you want to do. You're going to die. But
speaking of such, have you worked out lately? What are you doing? What kind of training are you doing? I'm going to totally derail you here.
It's really light. I've spent so much time. So I have a friend that's opening up a gym here in town, and it's so light. Yeah. See, they go wah wah. I haven't worked out. I've worked out like about twice a week. It's not much.
Okay. Yeah.
I've committed to helping some friends open up their gym. And so we have a brand new gym coming in.
Looks like a nice facility, by the way.
Really nice.
It looks really nice.
It's really, really nice. So we just put the technology in it, got the doors working and all that bass swiping stuff. We put all that stuff in. So it's really cool. But I haven't not I have a bit neglected my fitness, and it's very problematic for me because it's a habit, and you need to keep the habit. It's really easy to drop off. One day becomes 2, becomes 4, becomes 12, becomes a month, becomes a year.
Becomes a fuck it. Becomes a bucket of fuck it.
A bucket of fuck it. Yeah, that's probably might just be your best quote ever. Just thinking. But at the end of the day, if you want a new habit, if you are, as we've said so many times, to get what you've never had, you must do things you've never done. And that includes creating new habits.
I love that. I don't know why. I love that. I really do.
Well, it's true. And the only way you can do that is create a new habit. If you create a new habit in a new direction, you're going to get a new path. A new path sheds light on something maybe that you didn't think of or you didn't do, or places you've never been. It's not the beaten path through the woods that everybody else has went on. Go on your own path. Find your own way. People want to be like this person or be like that person. Don't be like that person. Create your own habits and be you. No one can be you better than you, as Dr. Seuss said. You're than you. There's no one else that can be youer than you, or whatever. But create the right habits to get what you want. Now, there may be a real quick question before we wrap this up. There may be what is the right habit? And that's a really good question.
So does that align with your goal setting?
It does. It better.
It did damn well better. You're right. It absolutely better.
I mean, there's,
it's
just almost like compete versus complete.
Yeah.
I'm not going to create the right habits, but I got the goals. Well, that's like completing working out, completing a mindset at the working out, but yet you expect to compete. They're not going to align, and they're not going to connect. And just unless you're the only person in the race, unless you're the only person in the event, you're not going to podium in an event that you're just trying to get through it.
And I'm just going to think out loud here, and there may not be an answer to this, but how do you know, like, what would be an indicator for you personally if that is a habit that you want to create? Like, and there may not be a right answer to this. It got me thinking. I was like, is the habit worth creating? I'm like, I've never really assessed the habits I'm going to create. And so, again, there may not be an answer. I just want to throw that out there and let you think on it for a second. But
I guess it would depend. For example,
go ahead.
Well, I mean, if my habit is learn more about mental stuff, I need to create a habit to learn more. So what I need to do is dedicate an hour a day, 30 minutes a day, to where I do nothing but research stuff on the mind. I create, or if I go, this is where I want to go. Now you can look at other people and find out what was their path. If you don't know a path, you can look at someone else and see kind of where their path led, and maybe take some tidbits from them, or ask someone who's been down the journey, say, hey, I've always wanted to be a speaker. How do I become a speaker? How do I get people to want to literally pay me to talk? Which to me sounds absurd, but people do it all day long for a lot of money. So how do I do that? Well, first, talk to someone who does it really well and say, hey, what did you do to get where you're at? And maybe, I tell you what, so Tony Robbins, he's got this new book, and it's something on money. And I don't know exactly what it is, but I did hear him talking. I think it was on a YouTube video. He was talking about what he did. He went to talk to the 50 richest people on the planet, I think. And he got all of their stories and put it all together, and he made kind of this roadmap to how to do it.
Like an outline, yeah.
Yeah. And so you can do that yourself. If you don't know what it takes, go ask people.
Because I can damn well guarantee you somebody's there or has been there.
Now, their path is a lot different than yours. I mean,
sure.
So, I mean, it's not always the same, but if you ask yourself, where do I want to go and how do I get there?
So you have to create the habits that align something similar to that path, maybe parallel to it.
It's got to be in the direction. It may not be to it, because I assure you, even the pros, not all of their habits are in alignment.
Right.
And they weren't originally. Right. So it's kind of like going back to the goal setting, where you have a target and you aim at it, and you miss because it's not so okay. Now I need to readjust a little bit. So you go a little bit and you say, okay, or if we're talking about doing an Ironman or something, are the analytics improving? Do they look better? Am I getting enough sleep? Okay, then I probably need to adjust my habit of sleep. Maybe I need more sleep. So let's adjust my habit of sleeping, get comfortable with that, and see if it changes my numbers. Oh, do I need to run a little bit more? So I need to create a habit of running more. So let me go ahead and put that in my schedule.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing, especially when it comes to that, is accountability.
Oh,
I mean, you have to be accountable for that habit, because if you don't, if there's no repercussion for the habit and it's not instant, they're just not going to do anything for you.
Right.
So make sure that you have an accountability partner, or use like the app, which we were talking about. Download an app for your schedule.
What was the name of that one, Craig? I've got it on my phone.
I don't even remember. It's downstairs.
I got it right
I think it's TimeTune.
TimeTune. It is.
Yeah. So it's an Android app, and it's called TimeTune, and you schedule your day. You can have mini weeks, single week that repeats. You can have scheduled events in there where you're going to say, I'm going to get up at 6:30. It's going to ding me at 6:30. And at 7:15, I'm getting in the shower. At 8:30, I'm at work. From 8:30 to 9:30, I answer emails, blah, 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 blah.
And that as you're saying that, to some people that may sound a little bit extreme and micromanaging, but as dynamic as the world is right now, we have so much stuff going on, and that's part of my problem. I even told Kendall the other night, I'm like, she's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know where to start. I've got so much shit going on. You and I have talked about this. Prioritization is not my strong point. Yeah. I'm okay with that. I'm working on that. I'm trying to create better movements with that. But you get so much stuff going on. So TimeTune, I started toying with it a little bit this weekend. Yeah. I'm gonna mess with it more this week. But it's something to where, for me, I think that I need that. I need that dictation of, okay, it's 8 to 9:30. You're doing this. Like, that is your only focus in this hour, because I get pulled. Man, I get on the internet, send an email. And I make this joke all the time, and I use Google Chrome. I'll have 15 tabs open, and I'll click over here. Oh, somebody notified me on Facebook. Let me go see what it said. Next thing you know, I'm scrolling down Facebook, and I go back. I'm like, why the hell was I write John an email? Like, what the hell was I doing? Oh, shit, I got to build his training plan, And so
it jacks with that type of stuff. It jacks with your focus. And when it jacks with your focus, you're going to get tired. When you can get tired, here's how you tell if you need a little bit more of a routine. What did you do yesterday? And if you can't tell me, you probably need at least a little bit of a schedule plan to say, this is what I'm going to do consistently. These are my things to get done. And I'm going to block out whatever it is, whether it's no Facebook for 3 hours so I can get stuff done, whether it's me saying, all right, I got to get homework done. So at 10 o'clock, my phone goes off, or I leave it downstairs and I turn everything off so that I do nothing but focus on this. And then I can switch over in 3 hours, because the 3 solid hours might be better, and it will be better than 5 hours of sporadic time.
It's funny you say that, because we do something here as a family, and every day when we sit down at the dinner table, we'll rotate turns, but it's best part of your day, go. And we'll point to somebody, and they have to tell the best part of their day. And that's kind of what our family does to kind of reiterate that life is really good if you find the good moments, The
silver lining.
And so we go through this, and it's funny you said that about the routine, because on the weekends we don't really have a routine. It's just kind of like, do whatever, we got this going on, it's very much in flux, but during the week we have it. On the weekends, I find that Kendall and I have the hardest time even remember what the hell we did that day.
Yeah.
Kendall, sometimes we go, oh, shit, I don't remember what we did today. Like, I don't know what the best part was, because I don't remember. So you're right. It's that habit. It's that routine. It's that, okay, Tuesday, Thursday, I take the boys to school. I pick them up every day, blah, blah, blah. I meet with so-and-so this day. And it's that constant habit. And I think this podcast, actually, this one turned out to be a really good discussion, because there's a lot more to it than just saying the word habit. Like, there's a lot of little small things that are easily controlled, and I think easily manipulated, if the power and desire is there to either change, create, or break.
Yes, I agree. And understanding that, it's like people that are anxious. I love anxieties. I love dealing with people with anxieties, and they go, and I go, you just stop, just quit. It's not that easy. People kind of freak out. It's not that easy just to create a habit. You have to understand the process of becoming a habit, so that you can get yourself through to to a new habit and you
Right.
get rid of an old habit, but you have to replace it. A habit must be replaced. If you take something, you must put something back in its
Fill the
place.
void.
Well, I mean, you think about people that quit smoking, then they freak out because they got nothing to do when they were
So then
supposed
they start
to smoke.
eating.
So they start eating it because they replace it. So it's like digging a ditch and taking the habit out. Don't forget to backfill with a better habit, with something
Listen
better.
to you sound like the true Kentucky redneck.
I know, right?
Gotta backfill them dang old holes in the hog pen.
Yeah, and if you don't do that, it's like putting gasoline in your diesel truck.
That damn old backhoe
don't
keeps breaking down the edge of
work.
that pond, man. Dang on, man.
I don't know why they keep putting all that coloring in my diesel. Can't put that in my truck. Oh, it's agriculture diesel.
Oh, you know what? That joke is so funny to me because I was in FFA for so long. But I have a feeling that joke's going to miss quite a few people. If that joke makes no sense to you,
There's different colors.
if that joke makes zero sense to you, please, dear God, let us know it makes no sense. Because I'm
That's
telling you,
great.
there are people that would be like, color and diesel? What the? You racist bastard. Like, what the fuck?
And so for those of you that don't
Awesome.
know who this diesel thing is, there's farm diesel and then
Off-road,
there's
off-road
off-road diesel, which is I believe there's no tax. Or is there a little
tax.
tax?
There's
No tax. There's no tax on farm diesel.
It's horrible that we know this, but there's no tax.
I know, but on fuel on the road, obviously there is, because you have the part of that tax is supposedly goes to supplying stuff for the roads to ensure that the roads are clean.
No, I thought it was weapons to ISIS.
Well, apparently that too. You just flagged this podcast. Now
We're on the
they're all
no-fly
gonna-
list.
we're on the know nothing list.
Awesome, dude.
Anyway,
Man,
it's a
habits.
good talk. It's
Habits
if you
are
have any habits are tough, but they're great. They're great.
You flip my mindset around to where habits are not an uphill battle.
They're not.
Just
They
rolling
are
that-
if you say they are.
Yeah. It's just getting that
Okay.
snowball rolling from the top of the hill down.
It's so hard to break a habit. Yep, you're right. Just keep on thinking it.
Yep.
Wherever your mind goes, your body will follow. Think positive thoughts and positive things will come from it. It's not I don't live in a rainbow glass world where unicorns pop up. If they did, I would trap those like they say on the Sexy Hot Matrix video.
Dude, have you heard the song? Every time we're driving the car, McKinsey's put it on. It's pink, fluffy unicorns riding on rainbows. You
but they
laugh.
need to play
I
it
swear to
next time.
God. I swear to God. You have to find that song because all it says for the entire 3 or 4 minutes is that one phrase. And
Wow.
if you think about the visual, that's exactly what I just got when you start talking about that. I'm
It's
like,
a unicorn.
he sits on a pink, fluffy unicorn that's riding on a rainbow.
Yeah.
But no, it's right. It's a state of mind. It's a state of being.
It is. And that is to a habit. And so
Yes, that's how we end right there because it is the habit of positivity.
all habits. It's really the habit of all habits.
True story.
From it, all things can grow. All right, that's it. We're at 50-something minutes. We're going to wrap this up. We're just going to do this.
Long-winded.
We're going to wrap it up. Yeah,
Mofos.
I don't want to hold people any
Can we get some
longer.
Let's Do It exit music
Um,
or
yeah,
Mario Brothers?
We can probably do.
Either or.
No, we can.
We'll
do
get
that.
flagged on YouTube for copyright, but it's too late now.
All right. Well, that wraps it up. If you want to get a hold of Jeremy, you can reach him over at mondrakemotorsport.com. We're on Facebook. You can also reach me at u-discover.com or on Facebook. You can also reach us at Performance on Demand Podcast. If you want to get on the podcast, let us know. If you want to do a online hangouts with your group, your posse, by all means, let's do that.
Have fun.
That was a good time. We did that not that long ago with the Pathetic group, and
We had 8 or 10 people come on there, and it was good.
Yeah,
It was good.
but otherwise, that's it.
Let's do it.
Best exit music ever.
All right, everyone, take care. See you soon. Bye. See ya, Jeremy.
Later.